All right. So what are we talking about today, Dilly?
So on the docket today, let's look a little bit. We're a couple weeks in now. The West landscape and how the La La Gems. I'm saying that just to irk Wally a little bit. We'll call him the Lake Show. I did put up a Dallas Maverick next to a Laker jersey for the fleece heard around the world. So I want to check with you. You are the Laker fan 101, Wally. How do you feel? Where are you at? What do you got? What's on your mind? And tonight you see the Spurs. So let's set that up a little bit.
Feeling pretty good, man. Feeling pretty good. You start the season off without, at the least your second most important player in LeBron James. Um, and Luka has been out, I think, at least 2 or 3 games of the first seven. The Lakers are 5-2 right now. And
Then six
looking
six and
pretty
two.
good, man. Looking pretty good. First of all, Luka, 6-2. There you go. How about that? Yeah, 6-2. And I mean, Luca's on a historic tear.
Yes.
Last guy do what he's been doing and wilt the stilt. And then he's
Yep.
got, to his Batman, you got Robin and Austin Reeves, averaging whatever it is now, like 33, 34, and 10.
Been really
Um,
nice.
but for me, the big thing about the Lakers and why I think, if they keep doing what they're doing, they could make some noise, at least sub OKC, is they're moving around. They're moving around. They're moving the ball,
Yep.
and they're working in the mid range. You and I, know each other well enough now. I've been talking long enough to, for you to know how passionate I am about the fact that the Lakers shoot way too many three. At least they have up until recently, way too many 3-pointers when they're not a
Yep.
3-point shooting team. And you got guys who can feast in the mid range. Finally, hearing people talk about Rui Hachimura the way I've been talking about him for 2 years.
Yep.
Luka, money in the mid range. Austin,
Yep.
money in the mid range. DeAndre Ayton, making real impact.
He's had a
Around
little roller
15
coaster,
feet.
but yep, but he's been good in
Yeah,
spots. Yep.
so yeah, when you consider the injuries, to LeBron, Gabe Vincent's going to be out for at least another, like, I think 2-3 weeks. Marcus Smart. That I gotta say that right now I think is an underreported story, if you will, when it comes to the Lakers, is the impact that Marcus Smart has had on
Mhm.
this team. He has brought the edge that they have needed for a couple of seasons.
Yep.
So I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good about my squad. It's a fierce conference, as you were mentioning earlier
Yep.
with
The
us.
West is
San
loaded. Yep.
Antonio coming to town. The alien, Wemby.
Yep.
But yeah, I think aside from OKC, we'll see what goes down tonight. I think it's going to real test tonight for the Lakers when it comes to the Spurs. But truly, though, I think aside from OKC, they can hang with any team as long as they're doing what they need to do, as long as they're playing good, smart basketball. What do you think, generally speaking, about the Lakers in the West?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth there, Wally. And it's interesting, isn't it, that you're asking for and being a fan and you're championing the mid range from a JJ Redick led squad, and he may be initiating that too, which is there's some sweet irony there. But I think you're right. I think the midi,
Yeah.
especially for that squad, I think AR's out tonight, but he's been dynamite, and that's the interesting nuance I kind of have is like if you had said if I had told you LeBron's going to sit the first 8 games. How many games has Luka played? Let's see. Luka's played 4 of the 8 games. Austin's played 7. Your only 8 for 8 guys are Rui, Jake Laravia, who we can talk about a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and Vanderbilt and Vandy. And you've been beat up, and you're coming and you're sitting at 6-2. That really surprises me. I think the team ball
Me too.
element is happening. I think there has been some signs of Aiden buying in, buying out. I'm with you on the smart minutes. I question how that holds up. Injured guys tend to get injured, and so I'm just curious how that plays out. I think AR is out tonight, but I think if I was going to glorify one dude, I think it's him. I think his tenacity, both sides, his ball movement, his creation is contagious. He a little bit is giving the step effect. Luka, interestingly, I did have a stat I wanted to throw your way about Luka. So this is the leader in potential assists per game. So points potentially created. At the top of the list, of course, is Joker with 18. But sitting number 4 is your guy. Is your guy the Midnight Fleece, Luka? He's sitting at 16 potential assists a game, which shows like what I always feel like I watch him as his teammates watch him, just standing and watching. And you're constantly calling for the movement. I think you are correct there. But getting professionals to buy into maybe feastless movement is one of the greatest challenges there is. However, here's the stat I'll throw on that. The time of possession. So this is the minutes that they hold the ball. Joker is creating 18 assist potentials, holding the ball with 4 minutes time of possession. Luka is creating 16, but he's holding the ball for nearly 9 minutes of possession. So what does that mean? It means that Joker gets it
Mm-hmm.
and moves it. Luka holds the ball and they watch. But so far, it's working. The thing I would kick back to you a little bit is the Jacob Laravia minutes have shown some signs too. I was not a believer there. I'm being coerced a little bit. How do you see LeBron again coming in? How do these keys get passed? And how can AR continue to put his stamp on the game with Luka and LeBron being the clear 1-2, I guess? Or maybe is there a case for AR to be kind of carrying that torch?
LeBron has to do no harm.
That's good.
He needs to come in and fit in with what Luka and Austin are doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's totally capable of doing that. You know, he is a people can say whatever they want about LeBron James. He is a team first guy, and that has been to a fault plenty of the time. Right, there have been games where he might potentially won the game on his shoulders, but he wanted to try to get his teammates more involved than perhaps they had a right to be based on lack of good play. So I think he needs to come in. He needs to play off the ball. He needs to be that hockey assist guy, that cutter to the basket, because even at, approaching 41 years old, that dude takes it as hard to the rack as anyone in this league.
Okay.
And the way that the Lakers have been playing right now is getting movement off the ball, getting dudes dive into the basket. There was this play against it was in the last game against Portland where you didn't obviously have LeBron, you didn't have Luka, you didn't have Austin Reeves. You had three top players out in that game.
Yep.
And that Portland team is a tenacious team. They were
They
fourth in the West going into that game. I don't know where they're at the moment.
They're
But they
sitting
play hard, man.
Sitting eight. That's how tight it is right now. It's early. Yep.
There you go. And man, who had the ball? I forget who it was. But anyways, Marcus Smart, we were just talking about, made a dive towards the basket. Actually, I think was Luka in that game. I can't remember. Anyways,
he was.
There was
I think
a play. It just for me, it's simple. He was right. Yep. It's simple basketball, man. You know what I mean? Like if you're just like to your point, and I take your point, when everyone's just watching Luka do his thing, and he's amazing. Like he can get it done by himself.
Singular,
but that's not going to ultimately. That's not going to win you the ultimate prize, So he is a very capable passer. But the general point I'm trying to make is, when you got four guys just standing on the perimeter, typically as it works, at least that's how it's been with the Lakers, and watching one guy in ISO, the other four defenders who are not on the ball, they get to focus purely on the ball and the ball handler. Yep. You're doing their job for them. I mentioned it last time we were on talking about it. My coach would say, like, they can have a cup of coffee. So for me, that's the key. That's the key. You maximize the talents of Luka, LeBron, and Austin when the rest of the guys are moving around. They're making screens. They're making cuts. With our daily listen, of course, on the radio. The whole Indiana basketball thing. I think that's just. And for those who are uninitiated, that's on the show, Dylan and I listen to, Clinton and Friends. That's good basketball, just like good, hard-nosed, basic basketball. And if the Lakers play like that, I think they can hang with most teams. The one team that right now clearly is just head and shoulders about everyone, as you've talked about many times, is OKC. So I don't know if any, and they're not even playing with Jalen Williams right now. But I'm feeling pretty good about my Lakers. I'm feeling pretty good. We'll have to see what they do tonight. I was actually talking with some people earlier. I think, you either have to really try to stifle Wemby, and I think I probably lean more in this direction, force that guy to get like at least 50 to win the game. Try to shut down everyone else, and see if he can do it all by himself. I'm feeling pretty good about the Lakers in the West right now. It's all about health at the end of the day. But right now, they're overcoming that. That. To your point, if you had said to me, you're not going to have LeBron for the first 8 games. You have no LeBron. You have Luka for half of them. You have Austin out for, what was it, 1 or 2 of them.
Yep.
Bringing in, the new guys, They didn't have a ton of time in the preseason to really get going because of people like LeBron being out. 6-2. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have believed you. I would have said
You're,
4-4 best.
yep. You're sitting third. You're sitting third right now, Wally, and I 100% with you. This is a fantastic start, given the situation. You're Thunder at 8-0. Spurs are 5-1, so they are technically sitting two. You're ahead of the Nuggets. You're ahead of the Rockets. The Rockets have the best offense in the NBA right now going, and I think they're eighth in defense, which is kind of a shift change of what was perceived. And then we've got the Warriors sitting at 6, the Timber Puppies at 7, and then the Blazers you were speaking of are rounding out at 8. But it's tight. It's early. It's tight. One game can flip you spots, but some wins for you already. Your top 8 in getting to the free throw line. I think that is Reeves and Luka a little bit too. And then the assist numbers are really good too, which isn't always the case for Luka led teams. So those are some big wins for you. OKC, man, I think Dub had to have the wrist thing. I think that's going to extend him even a couple more weeks out. That to go in and do a secondary surgery. But that AJ Mitchell, the rookie, is plug and play. And Wiggins and Isaiah Joe continue to shoot well for him. The Spurs tonight will be really interesting. I think what you touched on a little bit defensively, what you're saying is you pick the poison. Either Wemby beats you by himself, or you take everybody else away, or you truly try to shut down Wemby and force the others to beat you. You can't play that middle game. That's what you see in the playoffs a little bit when you feel like there's a singular talent. So I think you're right. They played the Suns recently, and they threw Royce O'Neal at Wemby up top, and then they'd bring a double at him. So they'd get into his grill early. They'd face up, they'd body, they'd bring a secondary thing and try to get the ball out of his hands. I think he had his worst game against the Suns so far going. So if Marcus is playing tonight, that might be an interesting way to, do you put Smart in that, Vandy? Can you use an energy guy to kind of get into him early? But if you're going to let him beat you, like if that's what you're going to do is say, all right, Wemby beat us, we'll stay home with everybody else. We'll see. That's a different kind of way to play that. I think Dylan Harper is still out for the Spurs, but Stephon Castle has been really nice as well. And they're shooting a little finicky, so maybe that's how it goes. But I think we'll get some answers tonight. And really the highlight of every possession is going to be fun to watch when you have Luka with the ball in his hands on one end, and then Wemby on the other side, and the defensive changes that happen there will be really fun to watch. So I think if I'm JJ, I get into Wemby early. I fatigue him as fast as I can. So maybe by the fourth quarter, you've taken his legs. And if you can get him in foul trouble, that's another good, the best defense might be going at his chest on offense. Yeah, he's going to block shots, but can you pick up some chippies if you take it to his chest? That'd be the other way I'd go. But looking forward to it. Got a great West going. Your La La Land Lakers, I'll give you the name because they are playing well right now. And the drama is going to continue because if and when LeBron comes back, we will see. What if they're playing really well and he comes back and there's a little bit of a nosedive? The real NBA season doesn't start until post Christmas, January 1. That kind of gives you the best trend going into the playoffs. The last thing I'll say, and I think you watched it too, the Mind the Game with JJ or with Steve. Sorry, I'm messing that up. With Braun,
Steve
Steph,
Nash.
and Nash was so insightful. And what Nash said was the gravity that Steph pulls, the willingness he's able to move off, set off ball screens, what that does to other teams defensively. And then hearing LeBron say how it's hard to calibrate, and then you're blaming a teammate, and then you're kind of dismantling from there because of the chaos Steph creates. That's a little bit of what I think Reeves does give you Lakers, and that's the off-ball movement you want. But it's tough to maintain that for 82 games, 30 minutes a game in and out. So let's see what Luka does in this game in terms of energy. I'm curious on that. That's all I've got here, Wally. If you want to close up with anything, appreciate it. It's always good checking in and a lot of fun on my end.
Absolutely, man. Right back at you. And yeah, no, I agree. You basketball and all sports, but we're talking basketball here. It's a lot of it's psychological. A lot of it's psychological. And if you're making dudes run around on defense, they're not going to have the energy on offense. And you just got to keep forcing the issue. Yep. I'm sorry. Yeah. Fouls and free throws might not be the best watch. It's about winning games. You play to win the game. Somebody once said.
Yep.
And Austin Reeves has been doing that. Luka forces the action in the paint.
Yep.
And that's something I've always admired about Steph Curry is that he's so well conditioned. But yeah, he puts the pressure on you. You've got to do that. So we shall see. It should be interesting tonight with Spurs Lakers. And yeah, man, I think it's going to be a great season. I love doing this with you, Dilly. It's fantastic.
Back at you, Wally. A lot of fun. Let's see what happens tonight. And if the more you can put games away early if you're a Lakers fan and keep yourself in that top 4 in the West, because the Rockets are. You just know how tight this conference is going to be on the West. We'll talk East maybe in the future, but tonight will be pretty fun to see. Wally, have a great evening. Enjoy the game. We'll talk a little bit, I'm sure, with that, and we'll catch up again soon later. Have a good night, dude.
Sounds good, man. You too.